find where they eat instead of the fancy restaurants, because the fancy restaurants are bland food. But when you go and eat with the locals,
Oh,
nothing like a hole in the wall.
I know.
Oh
Well,
yeah, that's
always,
right.
Nothing like a hole in the wall.
always, always. That's the
Fancy
case.
stuff is for pictures.
Okay, that's like French Laundry stuff. Have y'all heard of that restaurant? Anybody know what that is? No one. Huh. Okay, well that's like supposedly one of the best restaurants in the entire world. So you should look it up. It's debatably one of the best restaurants
What's
in
it called? French Laundry.
Yep. Yeah, it's great for pictures.
French
Of
Laundry.
course.
Okay.
Always, always. Okay, guys. Well, for those of you who stepped up in the group and said you need help, for those of you guys who said you guys are dedicated and are ready to make this career change, to make this a lifestyle change, to level up in life, I hope that you're willing to come out here, be vulnerable, be transparent, like lay it on the line. Because listen, I can't get through to you if you're not, through with me, if you're not direct with me. So if there's stuff you guys want to take a look at, stuff you want to talk about that is not exclusive to the advanced membership group, this is the time to do it. So anything structural based, candle based, formation based, triple arrow based, even I think I'm allowed to leak a little bit of information on the new system. I can't show it until next Tuesday, Pat said, but after next Tuesday, I can make as many videos as I want. So having said that, if that's you, formulate your courage, formulate your words, do all your thing that makes you do what you need to do to get into the right vibe, to get out there. Don't hesitate. Don't wait till the last 10 minutes of class to finally get the ability to speak up. Come out. If you're able to, share your screen. Let's drag and drop your entries. Let's talk about how you can improve. Let's get you to your next level, because I can talk all day long, but you got to have ears to hear. You have to have your questions and your particular circumstances. You have to hear the answer. So moving beyond all that and that the little talkie, let's kind of go over, as you guys know, do not trade what you cannot afford to lose. This is our risk disclaimer, knowing that I am not your attorney. I am not your financial advisor. I am your friend. I am consider a lot of you guys family. I'm not your therapist. Every single thing that we talk about on these calls is meant for educational purposes only. Trading is a high risk activity. So if you are one of these people who don't have the money, the economy is getting ready to go all kinds of sideways, please don't be the person who keeps putting $50 into your account, or $100 or $500 or $5,000 accordingly. Be the person who says, wait, I'm going to perfect my skill set. I'm going to comprehend what accuracy percentages mean. I'm going to have trading rules. I'm going to do this the right way prior to me investing my, savings and my future into this. So having said that, that's our disclaimer. Anybody have any comments, questions on that so far? Anybody at all? Going once. I have hot peach tea tonight. It's yummy. It's yogi tea. Okay. This message here, I'm gonna read it to you guys. It says, say it straight, simple, and with a smile. There's your guys' little fortune cookie message for the night. Okay, so now that we're done with the disclaimer here, pretty simple. What we're gonna do is I'm gonna go straight to my trading view. If there's something you guys want to see, if I can, maybe, baby. Huh, that's weird. If there's something, go ahead.
I have a question for you, Jenny.
Okay.
Hey, are spouses able to come to class also, or do they have to have a separate account?
I'm pretty sure that Pat, so work that with Pat and Donna. From my understanding, they have, there's a list of, how do you say, like spouses and like daughters. Obviously, we can't let everybody who says they have a person in I don't know what their exact criteria is. So you'd have to message Pat and Donna. I'm pretty sure Pat approves and Donna manages that process.
I know.
But once you're in, or once she's in,
Sent me.
Donna, is that you maybe?
Yeah, that was her talking.
Yes. Yeah, I got your message, and I was going to reply and I totally forgot. So I apologize. I will ask about that and I'll let you know.
Okay. Now
the last time, if I could interrupt, the last time I asked Pat last year, he said 3 family members per account, but I don't know if it's changed.
I'm assuming it has, just based off of my own personal conversation.
Now, actually, she would just be sitting in the same room with me at the same computer.
Oh my gosh, get her in here. Tell her I said hi. Okay. Oh. Yeah.
Okay.
I asked her she cooked dinner.
Well, she's actually here. I have my headphones on. Yeah, you can be in.
Well, then she's been hearing my annoying voice with that high pitch of a squeak through your headphones. Listen, that's awful, man. I feel sorry for her. No.
Okay. No, I'm actually, let me see. I'm actually gonna, let's see. I think I can switch it to speakers and keep the mic on. Can you hear me, Sil?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. Yes, this is interesting.
So,
Okay.
Jonathan, what's your wife's name, Jonathan?
Julia.
Julia. That's a pretty name, Julia. Okay. Well, then when I know I hear a female voice coming from your name popping up, at least I know, something weird didn't happen, and I know it's Julia.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay.
Awesome.
Perfect.
All right. Any other questions? There was another guy speaking up.
Yes.
Hi, Jeff. How's it going?
Hi, how are you?
Wonderful. Blessed. And yourself?
I'm okay.
Okay.
I'm doing good.
How can I
Yeah.
help you?
I'm interested in I've been working, practicing and studying with the support and resistance. And I'm also interested in knowing more about entry and exiting a trade.
Entry and exits are, and what are your trading rules? So first and foremost, like, what are your trading rules? What system are you using? Are you trading with,
I've been using triple arrows. Um, and I'm studying baby pips. I'm definitely doing baby pips. And for about the last week or two, I have been coming to your class, and I'm interested in, your strategy has caught my attention. And I went in about a week ago and I downloaded some of your indicators, the MACD and some of the other ones. And so I kind of have my chart set up close to what yours is. I was looking at your video about the golden strategy.
yep.
And
Let me stop you right there. I'm sorry to interrupt, but that's exclusive to the advanced membership group, as well as the fractal break strategies and the day trading strategies for those of you guys who know it or are working with it. Those are exclusive to the advanced membership group. So this, you can definitely discuss it, but mildly so. So I'm not going to go over that chart setup per se in this, but if you'd like, I'll put your name on I think your name is on my list, Jeff. I see it right there. So like
Okay.
at the end of one of the classes, and you're next, I think I have to check with Paul, and then you're next after Paul. So at the end of one of those classes, and we usually go for a long time, I'll spend some time with you individually, whether it be setting up your chart or going over entries or whatever questions you have pertaining that particular strategy, which you can use for scalping, and you can also use it for intraday or swings, although the economic climate isn't phenomenal for that and summer's coming. So I personally wouldn't be looking for intraday and swings at this time. Personally, I'd be looking to get in and out of the market and control my uh, my exposure. That's the word.
Okay.
my word choice today is I'm on fire. So
Okay.
does
Well,
that kind of
But kind of in general, Jeff, this is Scott.
Hi, Scott.
Keith was also asking about entries. And in some ways, it doesn't matter. Entries are less important than something like, how you manage once you get in. Now, if we look at this chart right now,
Yes.
here we've got a high, we make a low, we make a lower high, we make a slightly higher low, about an equal high, a slightly higher low. So we are actually making higher lows while staying even here. And then we start moving up. We make a higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. So what's happening with price now?
Continue to go up.
It's going up. The definition of an uptrend is you're making higher highs and higher lows. Over on the left, let me just dump my annotations. We are making, we have a high, we have a low, which is lower than this low, slightly lower high, lower low, lower high. Okay, this is a downtrend because we're making lower lows and lower highs. Then we kind of go sideways for this block until it decides which direction it's going to move. And it finally breaks out over in here, and we start making higher highs and higher lows. Once you start making higher highs and higher lows, your bias is to go up. And it doesn't really matter where you get in if you're willing to hold through a drawdown. If you get in up here, you have to live through this, but then you get that.
I 100% agree with everything he just said. Like, a lot of people are so worried about that laser focus entry, but so that's the kind of the whole point is if you're willing to say, okay, I'm with the trend, right? So whether
Yes.
you're taking breaks of higher highs or you're taking the pullbacks based off of Masters or whatever strategies, my re-entries on my strategy, no matter what you're using, it doesn't matter. For the most part, it doesn't matter until you're given a reason to exit the trade, a reason, not a stop loss. There's a difference. You're staying in it because it's still an uptrend. Always.
The place that hurts you is always this. If you're not recognizing that you're in a trading range, that's painful. Unless you're buying low and selling high. Selling high and buying low. That's about the only way to make money in a trading range unless you go down to a lower time frame and treat this as a trend.
True. That's true. Does that kind of help a little bit, Jeff?
Yes. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
Because
Yes.
this is the structure we're talking about. And the support and resistance lines are just, we've got a support that becomes, a resistance that becomes support. We have a resistance that becomes support. We have resistance that kind of becomes support right in there. And it just keeps on moving up.
Every time. You almost always retest at some point, just never at the point you think it's gonna.
Well, it depends. If you've got sometimes you'll get something that looks more like this, where you get lots of overlap. It's still making higher highs and higher lows, but you don't get the retest. You might get it from way back there. But it's a little bit sloppier. But the places to recognize are that you're making higher highs and higher lows. And just sort of understand where you are.
And that's true for any trading strategy, guys. That's true for the triple arrows. So like if you had arrows down here, or if you were saying, hey, we're going to buy based off of the Jenny's golden strategy down here, if you're using support and resistance, if you're using really anything. So it doesn't matter what system you're using. It doesn't matter at all if you're using it with the proper range. So
and actually understanding the structure that's sitting behind it is the key to making all of those strategies work. It's how you know when to take an entry in the triple arrow system and have it actually perform and not sit and bounce forever. It's how you know to take an entry from an arrow in the golden strategy and not have it reverse against you right away. It's structure. It's always structure. It's context.
I'm into that.
Where are you in the market?
Yeah.
Okay.
And also remember that when you are drawing candles, you're making a candle. Oops, let's see here. Let me change that to a box. And we'll make the color green. So we have an up candle and another up candle and another up candle. And then we've got some wicks off of those candles of various sizes, could have great big wicks. And what happens inside of that candle, if that's a 1 hour candle, you have 12 5-minute candles sitting inside of that. So if they're green candles, this is your open, this is your close. That's the high of that period, and that's the low of that period. And all kinds of stuff can happen inside of that. At some point, price drove all the way down to the bottom of that wick and went all the way up to the top and ended up there. So, and of course I didn't draw this right because this price should be about the same as that one, but I was just dashing this off. So, there is a world of ups and downs inside of that trading range. You know, we're on a 30-minute here, and I don't know where our daily markers actually are, but I guess each day is from about here to here is a day. So you can draw that as a daily candle just by looking at it. This one pretty much opens at its low and closes just slightly off its high because this high was up there. So it's got a wick on the top side.
Okay.
And so you have to understand that there are a lot of ups and downs that happen inside of a candle. And so if you take an entry here, for instance, you got this nice big long bullish candle. It's going to push up and then push down and then push, push up from there and maybe push down again further. It can do all sorts of stuff inside of that, yet it still makes that nice big bullish candle. And all of that pushing up and down is part of the way the market moves. Because if you look at all of this stuff, all in through here, it's a bunch of up and down. And the same thing happens down inside of each candle. So don't expect a candle to move smoothly. It's going to pulse, push and recede and push and recede and push and recede and maybe reverse completely. Context.
Okay. Makes
So
sense.
it's about expectations.
Okay.
I relinquish the floor to Jenny.
Hey, Scott, you know what? If you want to share your screen and kind of go over anything that you think that can help them, I'm totally okay with that tonight. I've got some tea. I'm sure I can learn something from you. If you want to just piggyback off of things that I say or questions that are asked, I'm okay with whatever format you feel most comfortable. So I will put that out there, clear as day. Do you have a
Let's
preference?
see what the next question is.
And I sign off with that.
I'm sorry, what?
I said, and I sign off to that as well. Whatever you teach, Scott, I'm listening.
Amen. So there you go. Whoever that messaged me is privately, who asked me to share about the 5-minute chart entry, that's part of, if you're part of the advanced membership group, I'm not going to go over that, but like Scott just said, again, we piggyback off each other quite well. We say the same thing often in a different way. The reality is it doesn't matter what strategy or tools or indicators you're trading. At the end of the day, you have to understand structure, a reasonable amount of structure, a reasonable amount of trending, like a trend line, a break, a reasonable amount of higher highs, lower lows, lower highs, higher lows, etc. Yeah, like
Yes.
at some point. Like, so that's kind of the best answer I can give you. And that's for any strategy.
Jenny, am I allowed to ask a question about, I don't want to, say anything about nothing that, is advanced, but I know, I think it was in your last class, you was, I don't know, it's about the 3 and the 9 and the 50. As far as which,
If it's the other strategy, then leave that out of this class, okay?
okay. I just want to
However,
make sure.
if it's a question you can ask in terms of generic moving average crossovers, we
Okay,
can answer it in terms of generic moving average crossovers.
okay. All right.
And what exactly is that, sir?
Or you can wait till tomorrow morning
No, I'm not going
or
to
Thursday morning.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah,
Okay.
that helps out a whole lot.
All right, awesome.
Thank you, Scott.
Okay, come on, folks.
All right,
Somebody's got to have questions. This is the time to ask the questions that, you come in, you don't really know what trading is all about, and you're trying to make a system work without having the background. This is where you ask the background questions. That's what this class is for. So step on up.
Hello.
Hello, how can I help you?
Yeah. Earlier I said that I didn't know where to get the NAS 100. I'm looking on my Hugo's Way account and I can't find it.
Okay, so
Do you know how to get to your currency list?
All right, I'm gonna go there now. Only list that I have is FX majors and FX crosses.
On Hugo's Way?
Yes, sir.
He's talking about your market watch.
Okay. On my market watch, that was on. It's just in regular pairs.
You want to share your screen and we'll walk you through it?
I don't know. Okay. Hold on.
Okay, I'm gonna stop my share. Okay.
Can you show me how to do that? Just explain it briefly.
Bottom center of your Zoom window, there's a big green thing that says share screen. Do you see it?
I just see start video.
Okay, go to the center of that bottom area. Are you on your computer or are you on your
Okay,
phone?
share screen.
Okay, good. Then you click on the screen that you want to share and then click the share at the bottom. And it looks like you found it. Good deal. Okay, click on the view pull down menu. Upper left-hand corner. See file, file, view, see view, just to the right of that. Now go down to symbols. And here's your world of symbols.
Okay.
So you'll find it in indices. Third one down. And there's your NAS 100.
All right, thank you.
There you go.
So you'll double click that and it will light up. There you go. Now it'll appear in your market watch. You see it at the bottom of your market watch now.
Okay. Does my chart look 100% what it's supposed to have be from the
You stop sharing
video?
screen.
You are running the old original MACD. You'll want to update that to version 11.
I don't know why it wouldn't go through.
Okay,
Wouldn't go through your
let's talk
license
about this in on Thursday.
Yeah.
Okay, sounds great. And so those classes are normally in the morning, right?
Next one's Thursday.
All right. I'll just sit here back here and just listen.
Thank you.
Now that it's June, guys, I'm not doing every day. The pandemic stuff is mostly over. The world is mostly open back up. I'll repeat, you guys can go through the last 5 months of classes. We've had, I think with Gold, we had a rough week when we had that pandemic stuff started to really pop off. But other than that, most weeks we've been beyond profitable. We've had very few losing trades or losing trading days. And compounding that over the span of 5 months, we've had people hit 6 figures. We've had people be able to compound only taking the trades called on those calls. So like it's a lot in there. So we have plenty of time to jump in. I'm pretty quick. I know at first it's very fast paced, but we're like wham, 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 selling, wham, 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 buying. And that's it. It's super fast. And then we can answer your questions and kind of go over different chart setups or little intrinsic keys. I can't say that word twice today, but that you guys might need help with. So.
And that's Tuesdays and Thursdays?
Tuesdays and Thursdays. No more Wednesday mornings. That's enough of Jenny talking.
All right. All right, I'm gonna be in the cut just listening.
Plus, you can ask people in the channel. There's plenty of people who will guide you through.
Beautiful.
So you don't have to wait till Thursday morning. You can just go to the channel and say, hey, I'm having problems with XYZ. What do I need to do? And someone will more than likely help you.
It is. It's the most helpful group, guys. I got another message, or one of the members messaged me today. Their account is bigger than it's ever been. They've taken more wins using these strategies than they've ever taken. And it kind of feels awesome. So, and you guys are doing great. And they're amazing people who are always helping, seeing things in diverse ways. And that's kind of ideal. So always, always, always. There you go. All right. So next question. Somebody else said they needed help with charting or something. Somebody said they needed help with spotting an entry. Like if you have your triple arrow system, we can go through your entries. Whatever it is, this is your moment. You there? And a couple people in the chat say that. I think Jamal was one of the names.
I'm also new. I have a question about that also.
Okay, go ahead.
It would be about the triple arrow system as far as entries. I literally signed up last night, so
Oh, wow. Okay. So you really haven't taken any entries yet?
No.
Okay. What is your question?
Well, when the arrows show up, I noticed the big arrows show up, then you have the red and then the yellow. So you would take your entry on the yellow, and I don't fully understand what those arrows stand for.
So keep in mind, let's go to a new screen share. I'm pretty sure this should work in theory. I had it mostly set up. Let me just make sure. Oh, of course not. It's gonna be a pain. My VPS is reloading, so I can't do that. Share. See, it's all blanked out. But when you get
I got one, Jenny.
oh, there you go. Stop share. Okay. The reality is you're looking for a combination. You're looking for a set of combinations. That's all you're looking for. That's it. You're just looking for a set of confirmations. So Scott will kind of pull up how his looks. Everyone's is a little different. There is no right way, wrong way, right?
So the triple arrows, you've got the big arrow here. And the big arrow, Pat always says it's a weatherman. And basically it's saying that I want a big enough movement, and then I'm looking for a reversal from that movement. It needs to reverse enough, and then I'll paint an arrow. Does that mean that it's for sure? No, because see all these white dots? Those were all big white arrows. Every one of them. It kept repainting and repainting and repainting. The white arrow by itself means nothing. But when you get a red arrow and a yellow arrow, all painting kind of in the same area, that means something. So each of the arrows is based on a different thing. The yellow arrow is a moving average crossover. The red arrow is based on something called the half trend. It's just a different indicator. And so they're all kind of confirming each other to say that this is probably a reversal, maybe. But there is no such thing as a for sure reversal, because things can just keep, they can turn around and keep going. In fact, we go, go back over here, and we can probably find areas where, this called a reversal. We got some, but not a lot. You'll get all kinds of false reversals, and they don't necessarily mean anything. It's just that you're trying to go that on the balance, you're going to make more than you're going to lose. You will always lose in trading. You'll never get away from losses. So what you're doing is you're looking to stack the odds in your favor. And one of the things that Jenny does is by plotting moving averages on the screen. So we've got this, now we've got our moving average cross, price crosses below the 50, and maybe even the faster moving average crosses below the 50. Now we have more certainty, and then we can continue to take it down. So the more confirmations you can stack up, the more sure you can be. So to try and catch reversals is like trying to catch a falling knife. Sometimes you'll do it, sometimes you'll get sliced.
Right. So would you recommend only trading in the direction that the bigger time frame, say the daily? If I was trading on the 30-minute, I would go in the direction of the daily?
Not necessarily. Let's take a look. This is a daily candle on this symbol right here. So this was today. This was yesterday, or yesterday and today. This is since 5 p.m. Eastern time. This candle, and this one was since 5 p.m. Eastern time the day before to 5 p.m. today. So if we look down inside of that day on a 30-minute. This is what we get. So this is like I was talking about, the world inside of your structure. We open up, we push way up, we push way down, we push way back up, and we revert just a little bit and leave a little tiny wick up at the top. So would you trade that only in the direction of the daily trend, just going up? you'd miss all of this going down here. You have to be a little bit agile and trade what you see on the screen.
Mhm.
I think it's good. So I think it's good to, like, if you're trading the 30-minute, let it line up with the hour. If you're trading the 1 hour, only take the ones that are in the same direction as the 4 hour. Or so that you could choose your set of rules. And you're pretty new, so hopefully you're conformable enough, and I mean that with the most amount of love,
Yeah.
to acknowledge, okay, you need a set of trading rules. So your best bet is to choose one of two options. Number one, only take the 30-minute that's in the same direction as the 1 hour. Only take the 1 hour that's in the
time frame is good information.
Yes. Or you can take an individual time frame, forsaking all else, which is going to limit some confusion and psychological disturbances, but you would be taking it for far less pips and you would take it far more confirmed. So you have to decide which one of those two trading styles is going to work best for your personality and who you are as an individual.
Okay.
That help a little, maybe make sense. Like that's really it. That's all it's going to come down to at the end of the day.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
if
that
you're looking
does
at
make-
if you're looking at a 30-minute time frame like we are here, and we are stepping up and we are closing near the highs, we are in a bullish breakout. It's just moving up. And at that point, if you drill down to the 5-minute and you're taking trades down to the 5-minute or the 1 minute, you are certainly going to have better luck trading in the direction of that breakout move. But if you're trading something like this, you're going to want to trade both sides of that by drilling down and looking at it going up and down, or you sit it out and you wait for a trend.
Okay. All right, because when I was looking at the system, I was noticing the repaint, and I was holding off on placing any trades because when I thought the big arrow and I had all the 3 arrows come up,
Mhm.
I noticed if it was an uptrend, the higher high would make that arrow jump to it. And then I was like, oh, okay, it's not coming down.
Yep. Well, the big arrow will repaint like crazy. The other two arrows don't repaint. But
Okay.
like this one right here, that was a big arrow. And then it painted the red one, then it painted the yellow one. If you got in after the yellow one painted, which would be at the close of this candle right there, do you have enough pips to make some money? Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's on a 30-minute chart, but this is on NAS. You wouldn't trade the NAS on 30 unless you got really deep pockets.
6 figures plus, and that would be stupid anyhow.
Okay. So the NAS, you would do 1 minute.
1 minute, 5-minute.
Yeah, 15 at the most. Like, I mean,
It
15.
depends on how much money you're swinging.
Yeah.
Because what you have to consider is that it might go in your favor a long way. And if you're trading NAS on a big time frame, yeah, you can make a hell of a lot of money really fast, but you can lose that money just as fast. And so the amount of money that you can lose has to be relatively inconsequential relative to your trading account size.
Okay.
So pick your instruments accordingly. Most currency pairs, the moves that they make in a day can be easily controlled with your lot size. NAS, not so much. A 0.01 is a pretty substantial move.
Yeah, it is.
If you got in here down to there, a 0.01 is over $1,000. The smallest amount that you can trade. No, 105 bucks, sorry.
No. What broker is that?
1,000 pips.
What broker is that?
Any broker.
I know, but we count it differently. This is AFX. I think that is like,
That's $105.
okay. No, I don't do it on this one because it always messes me up. It trips me up. So I don't do it on this one. All these different numbers and different ways of calculating. I don't know.
The points measurement, if you measure strictly by points, you have 10,357. You divide that by 100 dollars and cents in 0.01 increments.
Yeah. The ATR on that is 228. So 228 points or pips.
228 pips in this case, or 2,287 points.
Nice. 30 minutes. That moves a lot, guys. That moves awesome. Kind of awesome. Awesome. Or does that help a little bit in terms of what you're looking for in terms of the triple arrow system? So the new system's going to come out. It's going to have
More built-in confirmations.
built-in confirmations. There you go. It's more built-in, so less external confirmations. So, but this,
But you know, the downside of things that all get built in is that they're more difficult to understand what it's actually doing. So you're trusting what it is rather than understanding what the individual components do. If you're like me, you like to understand individual components and know what you're looking at. You know, if you're looking at something that is a magic indicator that shows you ups and downs, if you trust it, it's great. You know, it's pretty painless trading.
So I guess that's my problem. I'd like to know why, the why of things, and have a full understanding of what I'm using. But with this triple arrow system, I'm going to have to try to fully understand it, because when a new system come out, I guess it'll make it easier for me as opposed to the old system.
no, I think for your personality, I think it'll make it harder if you want to understand why things are happening.
Yeah.
The system is not going to give that to you.
Now,
So
one of the things that, you know, I rewrote the big arrow indicator. I wrote it so that it shows where it repaints. And so this isn't something that you all have. I gave this to Jenny, but what I've discovered by going back and looking at the at previous data is that when you get a triple arrow, even though it's repainted, you know, here we get one that didn't repaint. Here we get one that didn't. Now this one was a repainted triple arrow. It comes up and, you know, you would have gone, you know, into a loss on this one. This doesn't give you much. But on most currency pairs doing back tests, what I found was that you could usually pull 30 pips, you know, minimum out of a trade, even though it reverses and goes away. So if you take a partial profit or you put a couple of trades on and peel one off and set the other one to break even, you'll walk away with some money on most good triple arrow setups.
okay. So okay.
You know, like here's one that repainted. So we had a big arrow here and we had, you know, a triple arrow that shows up here and we get all the way down to there. That's 38 pips or $38. I'm still on NAS. So if we're on a currency pair, it'd be about the equivalent of a 38 pips. So you can usually get something out of it, but what you want to do is peel part of it off.
You confirm that we're talking about that on the 1 hour time frame, right? We're not talking about that on any time frame, right?
Right. I was looking at the 1 hour on that. 1
But
hour,
I
4
want
hours.
them to confirm that. So something that we mentioned that is even if you're wrong, that if you take the wrong entry, but a faster entry on the 1 hour. So just to be super specific, we're not talking about every wrong entry on the 5 and 15 and 1 and 30. That's a different monster. So the triple arrow system, when it appears and even if it repaints, to get back to his topic, on the 1 hour specifically or higher, getting that 20 or 30 pips is pretty easy. So,
You know, here's a 1 hour. This was a repaint and actually went up all that way. But it broke here. Came down. Now this one, yeah, we got a green arrow here. This one didn't give us anything. Now that's just a straightaway loss. Because we would have had a big arrow here, followed by our, let's see here. Yep, that's just a straight off loss. No way to sugarcoat that one. This one doesn't give us a green arrow. This one gives us a yellow and otherwise. Depends on where you put your stop loss, whether you'd be out of this one.
if you put it at the low, then you'd be out.
Yeah, it depends on where you put your stop. But even so, you end up painting another one back here that'll win back your trade and then some. You know, that loss is not that horrific. Let's see here. Our low is down around here someplace, 138 pips. Yeah, it's painful. But here, you know, you're getting 600.
If you held it from arrow to arrow. If you had an open-ended take profit. So
That's
there's
the point.
that.
If you peel partial profits off, then you're not going to get the full value of your run.
Mhm.
So your runner is worth less.
Yep.
Not worthless, but it's worth
Yes.
less.
Yes.
Mhm.
Does that help you kind of see a little bit better in terms of what to expect and how to use it and all that other good stuff?
Yeah, I just wanted to see if I should use it mainly in the higher time frames from H1 and up to ensure that repaint is less.
Yes. It's going to repaint way less. So in my experience, and I was able to achieve 6 figures with the triple arrow system, mostly self-managing and micromanaging in all fairness. But firstly, I stacked entries. I had very, very, very specific rules. But also because that 1 hour chart, the 1 hour and the 4 hour chart, like you're going to be wrong a lot less often. And then of course, learning some other criteria. So I had a whole list of rules that I had to have met. So for example, I couldn't just take any triple arrow system that came up all willy-nilly. I still needed it to give me some other confirmations, like engulfing candles, breaks of trend lines. I needed other things to line up. I needed momentum on my ADX. I needed some other, things to happen and go in my favor before I just trusted it all willy-nilly.
Right.
Well, I remember what we were talking about, I have to find my annotation tools here. The things move around when you share your screen. Circles, here we go. So each of our candles is actually making higher highs and higher lows. I get a red on there, so that's a little bit easier to see. And, we make a higher high, higher lows, all these things are creating higher highs and higher lows all the way up. We don't even have any major swings in this. This is a big push up, and that is just hauling up there. And we finally make our highest high. We have a previous low here, a previous high, and the previous low sort of in this area. So structurally, we're pushing up. Now we come down, we have an equal low, a lower high. It's even lower than this one. Then we make a lower low. Now we're in a downtrend. We have a triple arrow. We can wait for it to come up and make a higher high and reverse from that. And you could use that as your entry. That's a highly confirmed entry. Using structure.
The arrows are just like icing on the cake.
Right.
You guys have heard us said the same thing over and over. I know it sounds so simple and like, I'll never get it, but it truly is just that simple. It's higher highs, lower lows, breaks of trend lines, breakouts. Okay. That's it. That's all it is. Up for remember what the strategy is always. So does that help a little bit?
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, and one other thing to look at is that if you're getting a signal with an arrow, get my clear here, clear all the drawings. So we're getting a signal with an arrow here. It's on this candle. That candle's forming a low down here. If you wait until price breaks below that low, so sort of in here, or even on that tail there, that's giving you confirmation that you are going to make a lower low. Although making a higher high and then trading below the low of that higher high is also a good way to do it. So you're making a lower high, you come down, that candle is forming a nice reversal, you trade below that low, in you go, and away you go. but you also have one right here. You've got, you're showing toppiness right there with your candles. And, we get a push up, it breaks below, and somewhere in that candle we can get in too. But it's not quite as confirmed because we haven't made, we've made a equal low and kind of an equal high from this guy. So we're technically a box, kind of in a trading range right there. We have a false breakout back into the trading range. We finally break out of that trading range, retest the bottom of the trading range, and then we're moving away. So remember, price can do two things. It can be trending up, it can be trending down, or it can be bouncing around inside of a box. Did I say two things? Three things. I heard two echoing in my head. I don't remember what I said for sure. But also pay attention to the speed at which it moves. How strong are the bulls and how strong are the bears? Are the buyers going up really, really fast and the sellers are having a hard time pushing price back down? The bulls are strongly in control. But if the bulls make a high and sellers come back and swat it right back down, bears are just as strong. Stalemate. And that's sort of what this range is momentary stalemate. Bulls get strong, push it up, bears say, right back down you go. But then when the bulls come back up again, they're unable to push up close to this. Bears push it down again. Bears have it. Bears are winning. Especially when you see the bulls try again and they can't even get up to the bottom of the range and the bears push it down again. Yep, bulls are giving up. Think of the price moving up and down in the candles as a tug of war between two teams. And, you'll get these motions back and forth as the teams are evenly matched, kind of a little bit of give and take. And then somebody starts to get some momentum and it pulls the other team toward the mud. And then they dig in and they're able to pull it back in. It's this constant fight. And the price is actually the motion of the rope between the two teams in tug of war. So one team is pulling up and one team is pulling down.
Nice. And how do we get the settings for the, I'm noticing the indicators on the bottom, the ADX, I believe it is.
That is, I was experimenting with a value there, but in the ADX is part of the normal system. So it is built into, it's under trend average directional index. So that's your ADX. And normally we would set ADX not to 5, but to something like 10.
Okay.
The default is 14. I was experimenting with different settings. I'm always experimenting with different settings.
Yeah, I found myself doing the same thing.
If you do too much of it, you'll never learn to trust the indicator.
That's my issue.
Basically, like, what moving averages should you use? The moving averages that you get used to. That's the answer. Get used to the way they move, and you'll understand how price is moving around them.
Nice. So you have a 50, and what are the other two?
This is from Jenny's system. I think it's an 8 and an 8.
Okay.
8 and 18. Yep. 8 and an 18, they're both exponentials. And the 50, I think, is also an exponential.
Always, yeah. Almost all my EMAs, guys, are exponential. Okay, real quick in the chat, Peter, you're asking about the way I use high and low of the day. I do not trade market maker strategies. I know them. I went through the painful process of lots and lots of unfortunate videos and reading. However, I don't trade that way. I understand it. It definitely has a value like anything else. But the way I use the high and low of the day is I trade to it as a target, not off of it as a rejection. I have just personally found that that tends to work better for me as an individual. I think that with most of my most successful trading strategies, the ones I've been able to duplicate. So believe it or not, I know most of you guys probably aren't feeling this way, but you could make 6 figures with even the worst strategy. Most of you can do it once. The problem is if you can't duplicate it and consistently make, for example, 6 or 7 figures with that strategy, then it's not really worthwhile. So my rules in general are sound enough. I can make a lot with pretty close to any strategy, but I really don't like the reversal, rejection based strategies. So the end of the day, high and low, end of the day trading off of it as a rejection, as a reversal, not my style. I trade it as a target, just to answer your question. I typed it as much as I could, which was kind of nice while Scott was talking. I was just typing answers away.
Yep, and this is your average daily range. So the daily range is from the high of the day to whatever the calculated average is. And I'm using this 172 here, which is based on 4 weeks of data, 20 days. Jenny's indicator uses 14 days, I think. Was it 14 or 10?
It's 14.
I'm sorry, 14?
Mine is set at 14 and I keep it set at 14, and it works. So you can speed it up a bit.
So that is just under 3 weeks worth of data.
So it updates every day at close of business. So end of New York session. It moves every day.
And what the average daily range is based on is if we go to a daily candle and we look at the average size of the candle from high to low, high to low, high to low, add up all those ranges of the highs to lows of each day, and then divide it by the number of days that you're calculating it at, that is your average daily range. So it's how much does price move during the course of that 24-hour period. And so projecting means that price opens up at this level of our average daily range. And so price opens up, and at that point, price can push up or push down by the average daily range, kind of from that point. And as price moves down, it's going to be moving the upper limit down. And as price moves up above the open, it moves the lower limit up. So this is showing that the average daily range right now is the distance from the low to this point or from the high to that point. It's the same amount, and they just sort of stretch in toward one another. And if you get a really long candle like this, you'll actually see those lines just sort of like right in here, squeezed in. And if it goes really long, they'll actually invert. The high will be below the low. But that's just how it's used. It gives you an idea whether the candle has moved by the average amount yet or not. And if it has a few short days, you're more likely to see a long day. You get some compression days like this, you're likely to see a long candle. So you can kind of gauge as you look at price, if you're holding an average in this range and you're not getting that kind of average, it means it's sort of pent up and it's going to be expanding soon. You don't know which direction it's going to expand, but it will expand. Remember, you can have a big doji candle. This has a range from here to here, even though it didn't move much. Okay.
Hey, Sydney, so you messaged me. If you're half as talkative as your father, you're going to have to actually say hello. I'm just saying, like, it's mandatory. Your father is infamous at this point. So he's almost as famous as me. I mean, and that's saying
That's
something.
so crazy. Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you? I had to call you out and pick on you if you're going to private message me and be your father's daughter. So I really had to do it.
It's okay. All right. I was kind of shy, so I was just trying to say hello quietly. But I'll say hello to everybody. Hi.
There you go. You're going to have to, if you're going to have a thick skin being his daughter. You know that, right?
Definitely like she used to feel.
See, she's shy just like her dad.
Oh,
Oof.
Barbara's laughing. We better.
I know. I have a bunch of questions just like him.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Well, welcome. I hope that I know that it's a little unorthodox kind of call, but just to give you some foundational knowledge. I know you don't have a whole bunch of trading experience, but the more you come, I'm sure you're going to pick this up way quicker than your dad. And then you can come and like buy yourself, like, what is that, like a Gucci purse or whatever. And of course, feed the homeless and do the good works, and you can go to Aruba, okay? But go with
Okay.
Welcome, and I'm super glad you're here.
It sounds great. Thank you so much for having me.
You are welcome. Derek, you know that if I was gonna see her last name, I was gonna have to say something. I'm just saying. There's no way I was not gonna do that. There was just
Okay,
no-
Jenny, that brings us to this topic. How's your daughter doing in trading?
She's doing pretty good. So she's got her little Rosie strategy. She did start working, and I will tell you that, like, she likes the golden strategy a lot better. She hasn't been spending as much time with it, but she was able to compound an account. So I think she had, I don't know, I think she started with 1,000. She brought it up to 3,000, and she did that twice. So she's at the point where she's earned her fair and share for real money. But summer's here, so like I don't know what she's gonna want to do moving forward. And now I'm not supposed to say this, and this is kind of recorded, so God forbid I be a little honest, but my oldest son is also back from military school. And when I say he has the knack, I mean he's got his mama's business knack. Like, he's a hustler through and through, for better and for worse. Having said that, he's been killing it night and day, nonstop. So I think that unhealthy competition, sibling rivalry comes in, and she just backed down, like, this is cool, but I don't know if this is for me. So that's kind of where we're at, like, as a family. I don't know what he has exactly. He just has the knack. He sees it. He sees the line charts. He sees the higher highs, the higher lows, no indicators, cool strategies, doesn't matter. He has the knack. And he has the business drive that no one's going to tell me what to, that I'm my own maker kind of, wow, this is all kinds of personal. He's headstrong in every way, headstrong. So he's doing much better, and she hasn't touched it too much since he's been back. So what is that, 10, 15 days now?
Oh,
So there's that.
okay.
You said military school. What branch is that? Like, he's in the branch of service.
It was a high school based program, so it was a private school out here in Florida. Great opportunity, voluntary program, so it wasn't like a punishment thing. You had to choose to be there. You could choose to leave, but just providing him that structure, that
Oh, okay, all right.
and of course all those life skills. You know how the military do what they do, and it's based on every branch. And he definitely got that, because you guys know I'm self-employed. I've been self-employed. Like, he's been raised in a very atypical environment. So he hasn't seen a lot of things. He never had that kind of schedule. He's always had more than enough of anything he should. And his concepts have always been definitely needed some discipline. And mommy's really good at hugs and kisses. Mommy's really good at, hey, got a problem? I'll fix it. Hey, got an issue? I'll make it better. But that doesn't help a man become a man. So
Exactly.
that's just me being honest with my own weaknesses. It was great for him, and he's got a great heart. So he knows he's got to make his own decisions, and I'm not going to make them for him. But he's doing good, and I'm super proud of him. He's total high school graduate now, considering college or military, we don't know yet. So we'll see.
Excellent. That's good. I'm prior service myself.
Oh yeah, what branch?
Army.
Yeah, would you tell him go Air Force, right?
Yeah,
Hey.
I was gonna tell. No.
That's what I was getting ready to say.
Everyone,
Hi.
Yeah.
go. He could have played for the Air Force Falcon football team. I'm in Colorado. Big deal there. If any of y'all have been there, he's got the build. I mean, he had recruiters looking at him. Big deal in Colorado, as you guys know. It's one of the better programs in the whole U.S. because they have the I forget the name of that private military institution there, but awesome foundation. So I don't know what he's going to decide yet. It's up to
Air
him.
Force Academy.
Yes.
I know the Air Force Academy has one though,
Hey,
too.
Jenny.
But now he's in the Southeast, so football is at a different level where you guys are at now than Colorado.
Girls just wear leopard because of because they support their losing team. Excuse me for everybody. I just hurt their feelings. But
Hey.
Support their losing teams. That's a good one.
Hey, I'm an Air Force Academy grad, and when I
Oh,
was
wow.
there, we had a winning team.
no,
You shouldn't show your age, sir,
that
because
was
that's been a long time. I don't think my daughter was living when they had a winning team.
We had the #1 offense in the nation when I was there.
Did you,
Oh,
go to
you
Colorado?
need to be quiet, sir. You really messing up.
You went to the one in Colorado, right, Jonathan?
What's that?
One in Colorado, right?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Now I'm not knocking that team. That's my hometown, guys. That's my winning losing team. Just so y'all know, I'm not knocking that one. I'm knocking the Jaguars here in Florida.
Oh, okay.
Crazy.
Okay.
They just are weird down here. I'm not kidding. So.
We don't even have to ask them what year. We could just go back and search.
I graduated in '88.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Right.
So I wasn't even allowed to, I don't know, leave the house or go to school yet.
Uh-huh.
You couldn't even touch the stove, huh?
Okay, I was so short, like seriously, my brothers convinced me that if I stretched, I'd get taller. So you better believe I was like hanging upside down every day, stretching every day for hours. I mean, seriously, because I was
Wow.
very tiny. I didn't even hit that last couple of inches until I was like in 10th grade. I was still like 4'6", 4'7", all the way through 9th grade. I was
Wow. Okay.
Oh, wow.
Should have been a gymnast, huh?
I'm 5 foot now, or just about 5 foot. I'm almost 5 foot, but yeah, anyways, almost.
Hanging from the ceiling, huh?
I was very gullible and lots of brothers, so that did it for me. So very gullible. I'm not so gullible anymore, thank heaven. Thank heaven. So, all right, guys. Hey, any other questions, comments, concerns, pairs, anything at all? We're trying to get a really good structure, a foundation for these Tuesday night classes, because ultimately, I think the people who come and are tried and true, all we want is to give the information we have. None of us are perfect. None of us are Warren Buffett. Most of us each have individual skill sets and abilities, and we just want to give that to you and help you see the market in a different way. Indicators aside, charts aside, but to understand that at the end of the day, this is your rule-based trading. It's your strategy. It's your ability to follow your own stuff. So are there anything else I can help you with personally or any of that other good stuff? Because I'm here. Give you a couple more minutes. Let me check the chat because it disappeared. I don't know why it disappears. It just does. It goes bye-bye. Somebody send a message. So it pops up again. Like somebody send a message. Hold on. Participants. It's gone again. More chat. There we go. Let me check the chat and then we will see if we're hopping off. I think Gabby said, I'm a trade teacher. Lost in your group, mainly for experience. Gabby, okay, Gabby, I'll message you privately, okay? Jeff, you too. Wow.
Thank you.
You're welcome. How important is it to have a volume indicator? That's a good question. Scott, take that one while I read the rest of these.
Let me look at the chat again.
Oh, no.
Volume indicator was that?
How important, he's asking, how important do you think it is to have a volume indicator?
In some ways, first of all, let me just say that as far as traditional volume indications, there really isn't one in Forex because we don't have a central exchange. Volume is sort of a proxy for overall volume, and the bigger your brokerage is, the more significant the pricing is. So it's mostly retail stuff that doesn't show you what the big boys are doing, trading the amounts of money that actually move the market. It takes a huge amount of money to move the market. And all the retail traders, if they all decide to pull the trigger on a buy at the same time, it would be relatively inconsequential, the amount of movement that would happen. Because everything is being moved by millions and hundreds and millions of dollars just to move pips. So all that said,
The answer is no.
you have a great proxy for volume, which is how much is price moving. So if we have something like this, there's a combination of things happening. You've got a lot of money coming into the market at that point, a lot of buyers, and you don't have sellers in this void. The sellers gave up after this point, and price rapidly moves up. And it comes back down in here. Now you get some equilibrium around that price point until that price point is no longer accurate. Then you get another move up. So your proxy for volume, your best proxy for volume in the Forex market is what is price doing?
I'm going to use that to answer the other question in the group. What indicators do I use on TradingView? I mostly use the 3 strategies I talk about in the advanced membership group. I have another member who's using just the fractal strategy and has got the account bigger than they've ever had it. So having said that, on TradingView, most of my charts are naked. The only time I put indicators on my charts on TradingView is to set an alert. Otherwise, the best volume indicator to piggyback off of Scott is, watch, if we go to the time, look at the size of the candle. I mean, the momentum part of my ADX tells us a little bit of information that's kind of nice and dandy. But other than that, like most indicators are non-essential personnel, like every indicator, technically speaking. Now they're nice. They give you that trust versus going in the chat and saying, hey, this is what I'm seeing. Should I buy it? Looking for somebody to confirm with you. Those indicators can quote unquote confirm with you. But if you look at the candles, the best indicator you're ever going to have is little candles, lots of wicks, no volume. Big candles, little wicks, big volume. Little candles, lots of wicks, no volume, right? No matter which way it's going. Little candles, little wicks, even though it's going down, there's really no volume here. Big candle, more volume. Big candles, more volume. Little candles, lots of wicks, no volume. So this is just moves. The moves are volume. The size of the candle and the body of the candle tells you everything you need to know about volume.
But there's another thing that's involved with that. I brought it up before, which is that when you get really rapid moves like this and you go from a low down to another point, there's a void in buyers. So the buyers are not answering that. You can see a little bit of answering of buyers kind of in these tails, but price will move rapidly when the buyers aren't stepping in equal volume. And sometimes you can look at this and say, well, maybe the buyers are stepping up because, or they're not stepping up because they bought it up here and they couldn't find enough willing sellers anymore. And they had to back off, take off some of their profits in here, and then let price come back down by not buying up underneath here anymore until price gets down to a level where they say, there's a bargain. And now I'm buying and I put my orders in and continue to ride it up. Because the big boys, what they're trying to do is move bajillions of dollars into the market in one way or another. So we're trading pound dollar here, which means that they're buying pounds and selling dollars. And all this move is buying pounds and selling dollars. So if they can't get enough movement here, if they haven't filled all their orders, they have more orders to fill. So they relax their buys. Price comes back down to a point where they can get in again and get their orders filled. So they're buying up in here and they're buying up in here and giving them kind of an average price of something like this. And that satisfies their requirements. And then other people jump on the bandwagon late and continue to buy price up for this run. Is that clear? Or did I go fast?
Uh-oh.
Thank you. I appreciate both of your answers. Thank you.
You're welcome. Kind of just piggybacking there.
I do have one more question. Because I use the triple arrow system, but I've been trying to get away from it with no indicators with the TradingView. So I try to compare the two, and I'm still having difficulty with my support and resistance on my on TradingView.
Do you want to go over that next week?
Yes, can we? Thank you.
Okay, so listen, but you got to show up because a lot of people say, hey, look, I'll pay you for one-on-one coaching. And I'm like, no, don't do that. Come to class. It's free.
Okay, I will. I will come to class.
You got to come to class next Tuesday. And if not, all these people are going to message you and say, listen, Linda.
Right, okay, I'll be here. I promise. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And look, it's once you get it, you get it. Like, and honestly, every recording has it, but it's sometimes that hands-on is important. And let's be honest,
Yes,
everyone
that's
is
true.
a shot at it. So like, it's
Okay.
really simple. Once you get it, you get it. You're like, oh my gosh, this is the most elementary thing. My 5-year-old.
Okay. Thank you so much.
You are welcome. All right, Mary, go ahead. You can too. All right, guys. Hey, that's enough for tonight. I'm really focused on time on task. I would like to honor your time as much as I'd like you guys to honor mine. Trading isn't just about money. It's also about freedom. And that's kind of been my big kick the last few weeks is all the money in the world, if you're not living free, isn't worth a darn thing. All the money in the world, if all you are is addicted to the charts and you can't get off of the chats and you can't stop looking at every pair, means nothing. So if you guys are able to find a consistent strategy, and most of them do work in theory, find and apply reasonable rules, tweak the rules every 4 or so weeks, 2 to 4 weeks, depending on the volume in the market, and then actually do this, okay? What you guys are gonna have is a sizable, reasonable amount of money that potentially can change your life. And when I say change your life, you guys know I have zero interest in Gucci shoes, okay? None. I'm totally cool. Just saying.
A hot dog. Yeah.
Hey, Sean.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Sorry.
They're totally fine. But as you guys know, like it's about the lifestyle, it's about freedom. So a little bit of financial freedom goes a whole long way. A little bit of peace goes a whole long way. So that is my wish for you. That is what I would like to pass on and bestow upon you to whatever the best of my ability is. Thank you so much, Scott, for being willing to step out and be my commander in chief here and kind of back me up, give people a different point of view. Most times similar thing, just different view of it. But it's kind of awesome so people can learn from all of us. And I'm super grateful for you and grateful for everyone who's constantly here supporting me and also supporting yourself to grow. So with that said,
let me piggyback one thing off of what you said, Jenny. You're talking about financial freedom. So there's two things. There's money and there's time. So if you've got time without money, it kind of sucks.
Mm-hmm.
If you've got money without time, it kind of sucks. It sucks
Really
a little less, but it's still not good. If you got money and time, life is good.
Yes. Well, no, because I'm going to have to interject one more thing on that. Let me just, Scott, money and time, you still need that, special person to really, what if you had all the time and all the money and then you're like, okay, so I want to experience life, but you want that person to share it with. There's that. So.
Yeah, I
Sorry.
don't mean to take that for granted. I never do.
Okay, tell your wife I said hi and I think she's beautiful and a great dancer, okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome, Wendy. You're welcome. All right, guys.
Okay,
Thank
good night.
you all that you guys do.
Thank you, guys. Hope you guys all have an amazing night. And I will talk to you soon. Next week, please don't be shy. Like, come with your questions. I don't care how big or small. Let us kind of work with you. Happy trading for those of you who are in the advanced membership.
Okay.
Bye, guys.
All right, have a